Now let's talk briefly about Casablanca. What kind of a reputation did the Epstein brothers have when you were given the assignment to work with them? Julius Epstein is very celebrated today, but let's go back to that time. How were the Epstein brothers regarded?
They were regarded very highly as very efficient and talented screenwriters who had done most of their work in comedy. And I was called in to collaborate with them because they were soon going away on a war service assignment. And the script was not finished. We didn't have what you call a shooting script. So I worked with them 2 weeks, then they left. And from then on, it was kind of a race with the camera. Sometimes I was working on scenes right down on the set before the scene was to be shot.
Yes. And let's talk about the legendary Michael Curtiz for a minute. Such a great director and a wonderful track record. How did the two of you react and work together?
Well, we had our little difficulties, but we respected each other. And I think as an action director, he was without peer. He was just a very fine action director. What you had to do with him is to stop him sometimes from going too far in the action so that you could develop character and the nuances. And sometimes he'd get a little impatient with me when I would insist on that. And, you know, he'd say, Koch, you and your nuances, you know, we don't need those. And so we had our little difficulties, but in the main, our collaboration worked out very well.
I should say. And, of course, you won an Academy Award for your screenplay on this, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yes. And do you think people have always debated why this film is so popular today? It's probably the most popular picture of all times. If you had to pick one, this would probably be it. Two questions there. How do you account for that long-lasting popularity? And could you talk about the marvelous dialogue? That's obviously a high point of the picture.
Well, you know, I have it's a good question because I have almost a mystical feeling about Casablanca. The Casablanca needed to be done. That we are at a time, and have been for some years, where I think our values have been in flux, particularly our political and social values. And that people go back over and over again to Casablanca, where they had values they could believe in, values that were worth making sacrifices for. Can you think of any political man or statement today that you would make any sacrifice for? I wouldn't. I think we're in a we've been for quite a time in a very sad state politically. And I think it's very natural for people to want to go to something they can believe in.
Yes.
But how much can you believe what you read, what politicians tell us? And so I regard Casablanca as something that was necessary for the people and belongs not to us who wrote it or directed or made it. Really, Casablanca belongs to the people, and I think they know that.
Yes.